by submitting him. We will see how that transpires as we take a look at the tail of the tape for this 205-pound encounter. The Russian Gamzatov is 3 years older at 29. He is also 2 inches taller at 6'2". The Brazilian Abreu will fight with a 2-inch shorter reach. With the introductions, here's veteran fight announcer Joe Martinez.
And now, fight fans, we are set to go with the next bout tonight. 3 rounds this in the UFC light heavyweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner standing 6 feet even. He weighed in at the light heavyweight limit, 206 pounds, and in 18 professional fights, holds a record of 15 victories and 3 defeats. Fighting out of Curitiba, Brazil, here is Cleason White Bear Abreu. And across the octagon, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, a wrestler standing 6 feet 2 inches tall. He weighed in officially 206 pounds, and in 13 professional fights, he is perfect with 13 victories and no defeats. Fighting out of Makhachkala, Dagestan, Russia, here is the undefeated Shamil Gamzatov. And your referee in charge of the action is Leon Roberts.
The octagon official for this one is Leon Roberts. Thank you very much, Luciana, letting us know round 1 is just ahead, scheduled for a maximum 3 5-minute rounds of light heavyweight action.
Bring it on.
Fighters step forward, touch of gloves. We see Shamil Gamzatov in the grey, out of orthodox, and the Russian terror, as he has been called, Cleason Abreu. He is in the black. He is called that because he keeps taking names out here in Russia, and he aims to submit Gamzatov like he has done every other Russian that he's faced.
Abreu is doing a good job of cutting the octagon off and forcing Gamzatov to move towards his left hand. And Gamzatov's aware of it as well. You can see his hesitation in moving that direction, possibly even the left kick, maybe.
These guys are kicking each other, sounds like things are breaking.
Yeah, we saw much more kicking off of Abreu against Sam Alvey.
Nice kick defense as well from Abreu. He's blocked 2 low kicks now, and he's going like right below the knee, that hard part of the shin bone he's blocking with.
Abreu almost reminds me of a much more gigantic Rafael dos Santos.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sorry.
A much more gigantic.
Much more.
There's some redness on the midsection of Gamzatov already. And that body kick, nice, straight right to the body.
So Abreu has taken his camp from Evolution Muay Thai, Curitiba, moved it out to American top team.
I suppose the benefit in Abreu, having most of his career take place in Russia, is that he's going to be quite familiar with this style as well. This good style to the the Russian MMA fighters. You kind of know what you're going to get from them, and they're different variations of good on that style. They're either going to compress you full with power shots and try and take you down, or they're going to hit you with power shots until you try and take them down and out-wrestle you.
Well, it's interesting that you should mention that, Dan, because the background of Gamzatov started with freestyle wrestling, went to combat sambo, but he's got a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt as well, which is something that we're very much more used to from people outside of Russia. We've seen I think the Magomedov used to wear a t-shirt about how sambo was better than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have no comment on that, by the way, whilst I'm in Russia.
Out of it.
I am well and truly out of that one.
I'm seeing a lot of confidence in the striking of Abreu that I'm not necessarily seeing.
For sure. He does seem relaxed and at ease, trading these shots. His defense is on point so far.
But once he got his debut out of the way and then faced off with a real veteran like Sam Alvey, that's going to encourage you and inspire you. But there are a lot of column inches over here in Russia written about Gamzatov. They really are high on this guy as he leaps forward to attack the lead leg of Abreu. Another interesting side note, I'm not sure if we should read too much into it, but Gamzatov has trained in Florida for a good few years. He's now not there, but Abreu is. So some intel, I'm sure, was shared on the mats.
Again, Abreu is checking those low kicks. There comes a point where a fighter decides he's not going to throw them anymore if you block them well enough.
Yeah, not worth the risk of breaking your own shin.
Right. I wonder which one of these guys is going to shoot first. I feel like Abreu might start tying him up against the fence and work his takedowns. But maybe he has enough respect for the wrestling of Gamzatov to just kind of hold back. He's got UFC veteran Ron Carnero in his corner as well. So, a nice counter hook. So if it does hit the floor, I mean, the knowledge that he's got on his own as well as the corner team is quite formidable.
Are there any advantages for an orthodox fighter to be facing a southpaw fighter? Because it's obviously
You're going to use and attack most with is the thing you can hurt your opponent with. So,
but that goes for the southpaw.
It goes both ways. Yeah.
See, this is something that it always makes me laugh when people talk about all the advantages of of being one stance or the other. The reality is the same weapons that are open to an orthodox against a southpaw are the same weapons that are open for a southpaw against an orthodox.
What about the liver shot though?
But yes, true. I mean that's more of a factor in MMA than anything, I would say. But you've still got to set that up. I mean, it's not an easy target to hit.
Yeah. Well, let's see how Gamzatov approaches facing off against the southpaw fighter over the next couple of rounds.
I guess also single legs, John, for something to think about. If you're a single leg guy, it's right in front of you.
Good point.
Мы на одни и те же грабли драмы и на одни и те же вилы снова каждый год вечно на ножах вместе удержать, когда все уже бросят. Мы будем всем, когда люди кто куда обрывают все тросы. Все переделаем. Заново бы ты, заново бы я, заново бы до перемирия. Перейти Рубикон, перекрыть кислород, пережить, переждать без тебя еще год. Перегнул перебор, успокойся и сядь. Перерыв предо мной, перекресток, когда перекресток, переклеить, переделать все очень непросто. Перекресток, переклеить, переделать все очень непросто.
December 14th, 3 title tilts in the fight capital of the world. In the headliner, bad blood boils over when champion Kamaru Usman battles top challenger Colby Covington only on pay-per-view UFC 245. As always, you can purchase this event through ESPN+. Back to the action, second round. Gamzatov in the grey with Abreu in the black. Gents, what do we hear in the corners that piqued your fancy?
What do you reckon, Paul?
I was watching their body language more than anything.
I was thinking about the southpaw to orthodox conversation that we were having in the last round.
Gave us too much food for thought, John.
I know, right? I know. It was a good question, though, John. And the other thing, the conclusion I came to between rounds is that it's more of a consistency of training. If you're a southpaw, you're coming up against orthodox fighters most of the time in the gym, which means you get the reps.
That's what I mean, yeah.
You get the time against those fighters. If you're an orthodox fighter, you tend to have to bring southpaws in if you're facing a southpaw. It's much more of an effort, which means you have to then start to analyze that skill set and use things that are not as familiar to you. It's more interesting, like we had on the undercard, where you've got two southpaws against each other and how they compare, because a southpaw will sometimes not want to fight another southpaw because they're so consistently training with orthodox fighters.
I'm going to face any young people. I'm going to force any young people in my family to write and behave with their left hand, making a sound.
Right.
Tricky lefties.
Abreu's got an intelligence to his footwork, which I haven't really seen in previous fights as well. You know, he's circling towards the outside of that lead leg, which is forcing Gamzatov to deal with his power shots, the power left, the power straight left, the power left body kick. And Gamzatov, you know, to his credit, he's aware of what's going on. He keeps trying to circle back in the right direction, but Abreu's doing a good job of cutting the octagon off and forcing him to move to his right.
Watch your kicks, keep your kicks up. Keep your kicks up.
Becoming hesitant.
And no grappling. So we have world champion Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter in Abreu, who's a first-degree black belt. And on the other side, we've got a 3-time Abu Dhabi tournament winner in grappling.
Nice right hand there from Abreu.
He's rolling with the punches a little bit, which I think helped him out there. You can definitely see that Muay Thai from all those hours on the mat in Curitiba, Evolucao over the years.
Block kick from Gamzatov. I am surprised we've not seen a takedown attempt yet. Although Gamzatov looks to be looking at the legs of his opponent.
just
You
noticed
spotted
that too,
right?
yeah.
Keep an eye on the eyes.
Nice. Lovely combination. Disrupts the base of Gamzatov. Oh, he goes high, blocked by Abreu. Keeps marching forward. 23 kicks for Gamzatov versus 8 for Abreu.
So many kicks for these big guys at 205. You don't.
But it's
not the
energy
way-
sapping, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're both throwing tons of kicks in this fight.
I haven't got the accurate stats, but I was looking at knockout ratios across divisions, and there's a higher level of knockouts at 205.